Okay, I'm going to make sure that... All right, we're live. Hello.
Hello.
Loren, again.
Hi now.
So if you weren't watching, we are on a take 2 and hoping that everything goes well this time. So we're going to start over. So, hi, Loren. Thanks for waking up early. Lauren's on the West Coast in San Diego right now, and it's a few hours earlier. We've already started our day. She's probably just starting her day, or maybe has been up. I don't know. Okay, Amy said it's much better. All right, yay. Thanks, Amy. So anyway, this is Loren, and Loren and I have quite a history together. Loren and my sister Lucy have known each other since about 5th grade. Loren was my very first intern in 2004 at Jacob's Vail Dance Festival. Mm-hmm. Loren and I have worked together a lot over the past many years. She has her own company, thriving company, filming dance in San Francisco. Loren films with me and edits with me at the Vail Dance Festival, and she is the New York Emmy-Nominated editor of PS Dance. Do you like that? I'm like good at this.
Thank you.
But these are all true statements.
Yes,
we are not pumping it up. So, do you have anything else to say, Loren? Oh, and then I did this last time too. Loren is about to have a baby, so it doesn't look like it from the angle right now, but she is very pregnant and is going on, or I think you're currently on maternity leave. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of. I say I am, but I actually am still working a lot right now. But I'm trying to wrap it up.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you have your own business. But once you have that baby, there's nothing that you can do. You just go on maternity leave. It happens.
Right.
Believe me, I've done it twice. So anyway, so Loren was so gracious to say yes and be on this Facebook Live. So this is, if you haven't joined us before, which we are using a different platform, so I'm not totally seeing all the comments and everything, but I do this once a month. I invite people on. Last time I had my husband Christopher Duggan, and we talked about interviews. The time before I had Amy Jacobus, marketing manager. And is your eye okay?
Yeah, it's kind of, sorry. You need eyes. Your eyes are really important for this job.
Your eyes are important. Yeah. Oh gosh, like while you're figuring out your eye, I know I used to like wear contacts, and I don't know if you remember, but I'd be like shooting dance, and then all of a sudden something would get in my eye.
Yeah, it's really scary when you're shooting something live, and you have to stay with it.
Yeah,
but you're having some physical issue.
I know we could have a Facebook Live about like all the things that happen behind the scenes when you're filming dance, like in a hot theater about to faint.
I did faint in a show once. It was terrible.
I was just telling someone about that story. That was pretty intense. You and I almost fainted together at Jacob's Pillow. It was really hot in the Duke, remember?
Yeah.
And we
and then in this shoot, the other videographer also lost consciousness. There was something about the lack of circulation in the room. And I just lost it.
It's a lot. It takes a lot of stamina to film dance.
It does. And I think like the going around to all these different venues in a big city night after night, and then carrying around equipment, and then preparing the equipment each time, and then standing and really getting in the right ergonomics to shoot something that you have to really stay smooth the entire show. And,
you do. And you're saying like, because Christopher and I talk about how he's photographing, so he like takes a picture and
moves around.
No, like if you move,
you're
gonna ruin your shot.
Keep breathing.
Yeah. No, we had a shoot on Saturday night that was like an hour and a half show with intermission, and the whole thing ended up being about 2 hours. And it's like you almost feel like you've had a workout at the end of the show. It's so. Speaking of the show, it
like doesn't a toe workout.
Definitely a Buto workout. I'm seeing I'm going to text Amy because I'm not sure on this new platform if people are commenting. So
okay.
I think that hopefully anyway, so we'll see. So Loren, I'm excited to talk to you today because I feel like this is a topic that you and I just talk about on a regular basis because it's pretty much our life's work is documenting dance.
Mm-hmm.
And can we just talk a little bit about first why you continue to do, I mean, we could probably talk forever. We only have about 15 more minutes, but why you continue to do this and why documenting dance is you feel is important, not just to you, but like to the dance community, the dance world, and even just to people in general.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder the same thing because it's hard to work in the arts. Anyone who stays in the arts for a long time, and it's been over a decade at this point. So why am I very nice? But then there are moments where you're like, oh, this is why. And I think that I have just some really incredible clients that make really amazing shows. And it's not just the shows, it's the culture making and the community building and the shifting of people's minds about things or telling stories that need to be told in a certain medium that you just can't get. Like, I love the medium of film also, but you just can't get it. There's certain things you can't get that when you're in a live experience with, other bodies in a room, with the intimacy. And so I feel like filming that is literally the only way to capture some essence of what that thing is or was, because it happens and then it's over. Right. And I feel like ultimately you can't actually capture the thing. You can't capture what it feels like to sit next to people and then hear someone breathing on stage. Or, a lot of my clients do a lot of site-specific work, or like, cook, for instance, in a show, and you can smell the food or something like that. You can't capture that, but but at least capturing some semblance of it carries the life on in a way that I think is really necessary to our times. Honestly, I feel like if we don't have the arts, and especially performance in this way, in a way that it builds community and tells story, that I think we're lost as humans.
That's really depressing, but I think you're right. And
also, there's something about something I've been thinking about lately is like beauty for the sake of beauty, like the song "Bread and Roses." Like, we need bread, but we need roses, and it's hard to, when you're in the grind, feel that way. You're like, well, I just need to do the basic stuff, but I actually do feel like it's necessary for thriving as a society. So that's why I shoot dance.
And that is why, and this is why I love Loren, because you are such a deep thinker. You don't just shoot dance and shoot dance. There's a lot more behind that, which is great. But I also think something that I was thinking about as you were talking was that I feel like you and I both talk to people about we are not trying to change we're not trying to create our own thing. Right. And I think that's a big difference between, I think you and I both have made dance films and that are specifically for film, but I think that's the biggest difference, is that we're not trying to create something else. We're really trying to capture the essence of what is happening on stage. And that is a challenge, because I think, I feel like we're in talks and conversations with artists, whether it's at Jacob's Pillow, where they say, oh, the video just, doesn't capture what we did on stage. And of course it doesn't, but that it's a different medium.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like you have to look at it as a different medium, but we still, it seems like our jobs are to still try to capture what is happening. So how do you, as a videographer, make sure that you don't create your own thing and that you're capturing the essence of what's happening on stage? Or I know you do a lot of site-specific work too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I mean, whether or not we have multiple cameras to work with, the goal is to capture as much as we can of what happened. So the first priority is get everything in the frame. So, you know, some other videographers get a little bored, like with this shot where everything's in the frame. And so they want to like go in and get it, you know, just get little pieces of a foot and a flying hand and and then the client's like, what is this?
Then you have an angry client.
So the first approach is to like, okay, first priority, get everything as much as we can.
Right.
And then if we have more room to, like if we have additional cameras or if there's like a solo moment that gets slower or something like that, sometimes, because the other part of getting the thing or capturing the essence is getting close and intimate with the performers. So that's why I always recommend more than one camera so that you can do both. You can get the full picture, which you need for the document, for the reference, and then and then getting in and getting like the feeling of like, you know, we're closer, maybe even closer than an audience member to a dancer sometimes, and that
don't
nice.
You feel like when you're shooting close camera, sometimes you almost feel like you're up there with them in a certain way.
Yeah, and I think it's nice because that's how our eyes and our brains work as audience members, as we do. We don't always take in the whole thing. So it's nice to have the option to go back and forth between the whole picture and then pulling in on content on the stage that's specific. So yeah, I think that I like to say to my videographers to breathe with the show or breathe with the performers and let the camera breathe with the performers. So even when I'm shooting with just one camera, I like to, it's not a static shot ever. Even the wide camera, it's not static. And so the framing is always moving with the movement of what's happening on stage. And oftentimes, in my case, we haven't seen the show yet. So we're really just responding as an audience person would, but keeping in mind that we're really holding a container in a certain way.
I know sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm going to 2 dress rehearsals today. Well, actually a show tonight and a dress rehearsal. And it's interesting that I always feel like, well, first of all, I like to be behind the camera even more. but sometimes even after filming dance so much, even watching with your eyes, it feels so different being behind the camera. So do you ever find that you'll watch a show and then you'll get behind the camera and you'll totally see it from a different way? And maybe I was actually just talking about this with Christopher, that we'll talk about the show and don't forget to get that and don't forget to get that. And then at the end of the conversation, I would say, just use your instincts.
Yeah, definitely instincts, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really hard to teach.
Right.
So, and honestly, some of it you can't teach. And I think that some of it is required, you know, in the realm of the performing arts and dance in particular. It really, really helps if you have some kind of dance background or embodiment practice or something.
Yeah, I totally agree.
As the camera person.
Yeah, I've hired one intern that did not have a dance background, and it was really challenging for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're actually still in touch. I really love this person a lot, but I feel like that was a real challenge. You know, I think when you have dance in your body, then entrances and exits,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell like where the body is moving,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where their weight is. So you know that they're going to be going off stage.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that you slowly pull out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like you and I are so similar because we work together so much and you know, really been together like since the beginning of both of our careers.
I know, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
In the beginning of Vail's career, I was like a kid.
What'd you say? In my career?
Your career, I was kind of still a kid.
I know, but like 2004, I was still, I mean, only like 4 years in or something.
Yeah.
So not that far in. But one thing that I've noticed that's different about what we do is this whole concept of shooting live.
Mm.
Do you still say that to your videographers? Like, do you still talk about, and I mean, I guess I'll explain a little bit what I mean is just that at any moment, and I think this comes from my broadcast background, getting my bachelor's in broadcast video. At any moment, someone could switch to you, even if you're not doing a live mix, but someone could switch to you. So you want to constantly, I think that goes along with the breathing of the camera that you're talking about, that you're not going to all of a sudden jerk and zoom out to capture something. You're going to be really following the action. And when someone sits down and edits, at any moment, they could cut to you, and it would be a nice shot. So I don't know. Do you still live by that, or is?
I do. I think sometimes there's instances where if there's a multiple cameras, if there's a wide and close, for instance, that's definitely true for the wide camera. Like that camera should shoot as if it's the only camera there. But then the close camera sometimes.
I'm live, just so you know. Brittany just walked in.
Hi.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. So the close camera sometimes has to make a quick decision to, oh wait, there's like a other thing over there, especially with my clients who make things that are all over the place, like not necessarily a normal proscenium staging situation. So sometimes we have to make a quick decision and change the angle really quickly, knowing that the editor, me, will cut it out. But generally, I think that's it's definitely essential for the wide camera in my mind. Yeah.
So, what do you think? I'd love to talk about like that additional camera. I mean, in Vail, we add that third camera to some of the shoots.
Yeah.
That's Brittany. Do you know Brittany? Brittany, you can just make a cameo. This is one of our wonderful videos. Oh, wait, you can't really. You have to get your face in there, Brittany.
I can see her.
Oh, there. Okay.
But she just can't hear me because your headphones are on.
Oh, you can't hear Lauren. Yeah, you know Lauren, right?
I've never met her in person.
Well, now you have. You've met her.
Hello.
Yeah. Anyway, I told you this was casual. This is not. We're not.
That's great.
So anyway, I wanted to talk more about that adding a camera. So I love that third camera that we add in Vail. That's off to the side. I feel like that adds a great dimension. You've been spending a lot of time editing the past, what is it, a few years that you've been in San Diego?
It's been 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so not a few, but it's been 6. That's amazing.
I know.
So since you've been editing a lot, you really, what do you observe in terms of okay, that worked, that didn't? I know that's sort of a hard question to ask, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, every venue is different. And so I think that we have to respond to the venue situation, how the audience is set up in relation to the stage, and how to minimize our disruption of audience while still not compromising. So really choosing the right angle is it's kind of one of my biggest troubleshooting before a show, is making sure that we all feel as good as we can about the camera angles that we've chosen. And
that can be a little bit of a stressful thing. Because I was just talking to a client the other day about, we chose to shoot from the front row for the close camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we didn't totally think it through. This was a few years ago, that we're shooting into the wing. And we knew we were.
I know, that happens. That happens.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about, like, we have.
We're having all sorts of things happening today.
But yeah, I think getting familiar with a venue, that's the benefit of working with someone like you or I or our teams, is that we're like, well, we've done this before many times at this venue. Let me tell you, there's an exit sign if you put your camera right there in your shot all the time. So it does take some learning some hard lessons sometimes.
Yeah.
But choosing the camera angle, I think, makes a difference in terms of the best use of an angle of a camera. So I feel like 3 cameras is a magic number for.
I agree.
It's unfortunately we don't get to do it that much because just a lot of people have smaller budgets, but I really do love 3 cameras because you can have the nice centered wide shot and then another camera that's maybe somewhere else or maybe next to the wide camera, getting a closer shot, but still keeping the full body and kind of
some
breath around there, around the body. And then the third camera can really get in there and get more dynamic shots, so that, especially for promotional usage of the footage, it really just is way more interesting. And I
use that so much. I just finished the Michelle Dorrance video for Vail.
Oh, nice.
And I love the when the lights come into the camera. And I know that's sort of creating our own thing a little bit, but still,
it is.
Some of the audience members saw that, like it depended where they're sitting in the house, they might have seen that. And it's just such I love that side view. Yeah.
Well, we just did a shoot where we shot the dress rehearsal for promotional material, and then now we're about to shoot the show like documentation style. And there is a difference. And so I think that both are really useful for these artists, because you kind of need both ultimately. I mean, you can make dynamic. I mean, I'm very practiced at making dynamic promotional material with documentation. It's just like, or like, and kind of we have the whole frame, but it's much easier to make something more dynamic and have like more life to it, or more enticing elements to it when you're actually quite up close and have like a light shining in, or the camera maybe moves.
The camera moves. I love that too. Like when you cut to like a camera moving.
Steady cam gimbal camera.
Yeah. Well, that yes.
You can't do that with an audience usually.
Unless you're no, you're right. Actually, I can't think of anything where I done a steady cam in a. If people don't know what a steady cam is, it's a moving camera.
That's very steady.
It's very steady. Yeah, not shaky. Not shaky.
Not shaky.
I'm just looking at some of my things I wanted to talk to you about.
Sure.
I feel like one thing, actually, my team, we were talking about yesterday, is after you see the show, I feel like it's very hard to talk about the show with the artist when you haven't seen it. Do you find that also? Like when you say, what do you want to?
A lot.
Yeah. Do you but do you feel like that sinks in when you're actually filming? I guess it has to be something very concrete, like make sure you get the performer that's coming in from stage right or something.
Yeah.
So how do you so you do you not see the dress rehearsals
Generally,
or show
we don't.
as much? Okay.
Don't. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of times we're seeing and shooting shows for the first time, seeing the shows for the first time as we're
And
shooting.
is that because of timing, budget?
Yeah.
What's sort of like your reasoning for doing that? I'm
It's
curious.
usually budget and timing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like the first thing to go.
Yeah, I know that's how it is with us. We've been on this phase lately where
It's required.
Yeah, it's like really important. We just drove all the way out to Coney Island to watch Covenant Ballet, and it was an hour and a half trek. But it was important to the artistic director for us to see the show, and I think it sort of depends on each project.
Yeah.
But I mean, geez, how many shows have we all shot that we have not seen the show?
Yeah,
I sort of like that. I actually find that very thrilling because I don't have anything in my head. I just am like going based on exactly how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I'll make sometimes a call where I'm like, we need to see the show. Usually, excuse me. Usually when it's site-specific work, we just need to see it first because it's so complicated.
Oh gosh, that seems like you should definitely see it.
Yeah, in order to make a good camera plan, because it's not just like, okay, we're here. But we have a very regular, clear system of checking in before the show to go over various documentation details. And with the combination of that and a very strong familiarity with the venues that a lot of our clients are producing their shows in, we usually have really solid coverage. So, I think that I actually could look at we have a little list of questions that we ask a client.
I was gonna ask you that because that's what I think we'll probably wrap up, even though we can probably keep talking. But I'm curious what questions you do ask a client to make the shoot the most successful that it can be, so that they get. I actually have two more questions for you, but that's one of them.
Okay. So
do you have it in front of you, or off the top of your head?
I do. Well, we talk about camera location and sound and how we're going to capture the sounds, and usually
which is so important.
It's very important.
We haven't really touched on that as much now, but that's I feel like almost one of the most important things.
Yeah. I usually say to all my videographers, make allies with the sound person right away.
Oh yeah, that could be another Facebook Live, Loren. Just talking about how to make allies with your sound person. Yeah, we're not going to go there. I already know what you're thinking, but we're gonna.
So then I also, we do just the basics. Okay, how long is the show? If there's multiple pieces in the show, what's the list of the work and how many people are in it? And then are there any critical exits and entrances or staging? Any interaction with an audience? Sometimes
that's
people
important.
Break the fourth wall, or some dramatic lighting shift that we need to make sure we capture, or is there a pre-show installation? Sometimes people want that soft beginning. So it's good to know, okay, we need to be documenting it before the show officially starts.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Queuing so and then I think another one that's not on my little list here, but I forgot it.
Well,
sorry, my brain I just forgot it.
That's okay. You're having a little bit of prego brain, and we're with you on that. But that's just the nature of the beast right now, or the not.
Well, I know what I was going to say.
Okay, good. I'm glad
the symmetry of a show. Sometimes that's really important. The symmetry of the staging.
Are you including the set also? Are you thinking about how the set is? Right,
and the lighting, and is there set? Is there some hanging thing, or
right? And
then do we need to always include that in the shot, or can we not? Can we actually pull it on the?
I feel like that is such a challenge. I mean, I'm working on a project right now that we did film, and there was a set piece And we talked about before the show, should we keep it in the whole time? And we decided
I had
to.
The same thing. We regretted it.
It ended up being too wide.
I know. I did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Christopher was on the wide camera, so he did breathe with it a little bit. But then once you pulled in, you only got like part of the set.
I know. And then if you're up high, like we have that, and then you're up high, so when you're looking down, more of the background is like the floor behind them versus the background. Because
I know. I would say, don't you feel they were trying to put me up high actually there? And don't you feel like your preference is not like I'm putting words in your mouth, but being eye level?
As at the level of the performance that you can get. Sometimes it's just not possible.
Right.
But that's definitely a goal. And so usually we put one camera in the front row for that reason, because even if we have to put one in the back that's really high up, I like to have at least one shot where
it feels more intimate.
Yeah, that's like, okay, we're at the level of what's happening versus this sort of like bird's eye view looking down. Which for some reason, a lot of the venues we work in, that's how the stage is set up. So, and
a lot of them offer that. Like I was noticing this. The house manager, we were at the Kennedy Center. It was actually just recently in Miami, and we were. And the house manager was so excited to say, like, I can offer you the balcony. And I felt so bad because I was like, it's actually not really where we would like to be. No. I'm so sorry. And I could tell that he was so like, oh, like, but I offered you that,
That's the other ally when you go into a theater. I think, like, the first thing I do with I come into a theater, I'm like, all right, I don't already know, who's a sound person?
Yeah.
And then the front of a house, you got to make friends with those people, because if
they'll make your life difficult if you are, I know.
Depend on them.
We haven't talked about either, which I feel like you and I both are very much on the same page with both of our teams, is not, I can't even think of the word that I normally say, but not being a problem, like coming early, like people almost don't notice that we're there, but they know we're there. Yeah, but being very accommodating, right? Exactly. Because how many stories have we heard where people are? Yeah, it's a balance. Definitely.
Because you also don't want to be a pushover, because then the client doesn't get what they're paying for.
Right.
So you have to kind of like stand your ground and be like, look, sometimes it's hard to convince those people that we're on the same team. But you want to make a beautiful show, or you want to make it sound good. Well, I want it to last.
The biggest challenge is, like, in the moment, if we're being present in the moment, everyone is thinking about making sure that the show is a success. But then we're thinking about after, okay, we're sitting down editing. We want to make sure that the client gets what they really want, what they need.
That's where pre-planning also is just really great. Like, pre-planning is really good, and familiarity with a venue, and actually relationship building with venue production staff and things like that are really, I feel like that's what sets my company and yours, I imagine, and anyone else who does, whose niche is really in like the theater, essentially, is that there's so much you can't really explain to other videographers about theater culture and theater etiquette. And following etiquette and protocol, I think, is actually something that one factor that really helps in getting good documentation.
Yeah, so. I agree. That's really important. And I think we take it for granted. A lot of time our whole team, we talk about, anybody could do this. And then when you think about it, and you maybe either you see video that doesn't look so great, or you see someone behave not so great, then you realize like, gosh, this is something that you have to be very conscientious and conscious and aware and present. So before we go, what can you just rattle off like a few things that you recommend to your clients? Say they want to document their show. They're going to use 2 cameras, let's say, maybe even 3. And then, but all they want it for is just to make sure that they have the full show. They could send it to presenters, or they can just at least have it. And then you say to them, well, you could also think about doing this with it. So I'm curious if you talk to your clients about what else they could do with their video.
I could do that more, actually.
I know we could too. We could too. We're constantly working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the first thing is, okay, we're documenting this for the archive of it.
Mm-hmm.
And probably for a grant, because you probably need this for a grant.
Right.
Also for presenters, like, oh, I have this show, I want the show to keep living on. Okay, so we make a nice full show document, and then we make maybe a work sample, like a few little sections strung together that just shows a few little sections, but you still get the window into the show as if you're an audience member. And then maybe a highlight reel where it's like, okay, here's like 3 minutes of a bunch of different, maybe it has a press quote and and it has more sizzly.
Some graphics or something.
Yeah. And maybe it's just one music track. So there's that. And then, but the thing that I feel like I could be better at, and this will probably continue to happen with the way that social media functions, is really pulling out more content for social media and like short things.
Like just an excerpt, like a little moment.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly. And I think each show has its own, you could brainstorm on each show how you could do that. Like what, like maybe there's a theme that you could pull out of the show and then plan different posts that you put on social media over a period of 6 months and then promote something else. I don't know. I don't know what the goal, but whatever the goals are for that client, maybe that content then can be used to help whatever that, marketing, whatever the next thing is. So that's really more about audience building. And I think that something I used to do that I haven't really been doing, but I really liked doing it at the time, was interviewing the artist, the maker, at the show. We really haven't done that.
Oh, really? You've done that? Oh.
Yeah.
So is that usually something they request, or is it something in the past
that was
that you
something I was really into at the time, and now it's just too much to do for a show.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. I feel like some of my clients would be a little bit like,
it's stressful.
Unless we're doing a behind the scenes video or.
But yeah, so I think that's something that could be sometimes integrated into a shoot and then used later in promotion, is getting behind the scenes feeling of what's happening. And the interview doesn't have to be a formal sit down interview with lights and a beautiful setup and the lav mic and everything. It could just be like a off the street kind of interview style.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
And then maybe when I've done more documentary work, getting audience response after also on camera. So these are kind of, extras, but, and that's not really how to use your work after the fact, but.
Now you're adding. See, you're adding more work to yourself.
I really am, and I don't like doing that.
Well, Loren, before we go, so I feel like we've talked about a bunch of things. I don't know how long we ended up going, probably over 30 minutes, because I like to talk.
Probably just about 30 minutes.
But I think we're good. We had a few technical difficulties. So if people want to get a hold of you and check out your business, will you give yourself a little plug?
Sure. So again, my business is California based. So most of my team is in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. I personally am located in San Diego, LA, Southern California area. So you can find us and our work online at lorenrobertson.com. And I can put a link in the comments.
Please do. Awesome. Yeah, put a link in the comments. And definitely check out Loren and her work. And as you may know, I'm nellshelby.com. Loren will not be coming to Vail this summer. I'm so sad. This will be like this would have been like, I think our 8th summer, perhaps.
Really? 8?
Yeah, I think so. Wow. I know there was one summer you didn't come, but
that's really wild.
We've been doing it, I believe, since 2011. Is that 8?
Wow.
I don't know. I have to do the math.
That's 7.
Okay, sorry. 7? No, maybe it was 2010. Right.
Cool.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Yay for Vail.
You know. So
yeah,
yay for Vail. And hopefully someday you'll come back to Jacob's Pillow. I don't know. We'll see if baby comes with you the next time. And thank you so much for doing this. Oh, here we go. Amy already commented for you. LorenRRobinson.com.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll continue to collaborate and have a great baby. And
we're gonna have a great baby.
Lauren. Thanks, Loren, for doing this. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties. Hopefully you'll watch this later. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us at either nell@nellshelby.com or studio@nellshelby.com. You can reach us on our Facebook page. Oh my gosh, I sound like a little plug. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.